everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Movies on Our Minds. On this show, we get to talk about movies such as action, comedy, thrillers, the biopics apparently, but specifically the movie that we're all thinking about. And that movie today is the latest biopic film, All Eyez On Me. In All Eyez On Me, the movie chronicles the life and legacy of Tupac Shakur, including his rise to superstardom, as well as his imprisonment and controversial time at Death Row Records. The movie is directed by Benny Boom and stars Demetrius Shipp Jr. as Tupac Shakur. Now before we get started, I'd like to introduce our guest. We have Nate, who actually worked on the film. He's here with us today.
How y'all doing out there?
Nate, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good, that's good. I can't wait to hear what you had to say about this film.
Okay.
Alright, we also have Khafre returning again. How you doing, Khafre?
Good. Good.
You doing good?
Yeah, everything's good.
You ready to talk about this movie?
Yeah.
That's what's up, that's what's up. Alright, y'all, let's start with the cast and characters with Demetrius Shipp Jr. as Tupac Shakur. What y'all think about him?
I think he played his role well.
Think so?
Yeah.
What about you, Nate?
I think Demetrius did his thing.
You think he did his thing?
Yeah.
Did y'all like the way he portrayed him from the beginning to the end? Did you feel as if he was the same character or he changed? Like, how did y'all think his portrayal was? Did it invest you within the story more? Like, you really saw Tupac through him?
Well, are you asking this in the sense of me watching the movie or in the sense of me being
as an audience member?
As an audience member?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. I felt like, you know, as Tupac, he was pretty passionate in the beginning. You could see it through his eyes with everything that was going on in his life. You didn't necessarily hear a lot of what he had to say because he was taking it all in. That's what it kind of seemed to me, all the way until the part where he's seen his mom buying some drugs, and that's when everything kind of started boiling over with him. The passion started. He's always been passionate, but I mean that's when you started seeing like a little bit more coming from him. Mm-hmm. Like that was his turning point there.
Okay.
I agree with that. He did a really good job, you know, being passionate, as many people know Tupac to be. I also feel like as his development went on, like you really seen him change, especially when the scene where Jada came in and you know, he was around all the girls and stuff, and she was like, "Oh, this is, you know, you now," and stuff like that. So, you know, it was really like a good development that he played.
Speaking of Jada, what do you think about that actress who played Jada Pinkett Smith, Kat Graham?
Kat Graham? I like Kat. She's a very personable and cool individual, and like in there, I felt like you know, she gave it a pretty good deal. Like even with tears coming to her eyes in that scene. Like I said, I got to speak a lot for me just being that in that moment
right.
and working with those folks. Just the passion that she gave there. And going inside herself and finding that emotion to say these things, and you know, after take, and being able to bring that, it was very impressive.
That's cool. That's cool. What about the actor who played Snoop Dogg? See, I have a question about that because we were talking about that earlier. Is that really his voice, or did they dub Snoop Dogg over his voice?
Is that a question for me?
I mean, because you worked on it, so I am going to ask you because we were talking about this.
We all know that was a real Snoop's voice.
That was Snoop's voice?
Yeah, of course
you could tell. There was a scene where he was rapping in the booth and the words were not aligned. So that's when I could tell that. Well, I could obviously hear it, but that's when it was physically like, yeah, it's definitely not his voice.
Okay. Well, how did y'all think he did as Snoop Dogg? Do you think he was the best portrayal?
I feel like he didn't have enough
compared to like,
really say it was like, oh, a really good portrayal or a really bad portrayal.
You don't feel like he had enough screen time to determine that?
No, not really. He didn't say too much. He didn't do too much. A lot of his stuff was body language because it wasn't him talking. So, you know, as far as that, he played that, you know, pretty well.
Yeah, I got to fall in line with what he was saying. I think his mannerism was real Snoopish, you know. And I mean, of course, you know, like Snoop has a distinct sound, a distinct way he talks. So, you know, I guess in the process of making the film, they felt like they wanted to go with that. So they probably 80-yarded. I wasn't there at that point.
Okay.
So
that was in post, right?
Yeah, in post. So it was a nice surprise, and I think everybody in the theater felt at the same time. Because as soon as he started talking, like everybody just kind of was like, oh.
Okay. What about the actor who played Suge Knight? What did y'all think about him?
I think he did a good job being Suge. I personally, I think he did a good job being Suge.
Especially like I feel like a lot of the times like the way Suge is portrayed, he's very calm. He's very extreme. He's either really calm or he's really like violent. So to be able to go like between those ranges, you know, especially like the dinner scene when he was like talking about the guy like, oh, family this, family that, and then like, you know, threw all the food in his mouth and did all that stuff. Like that's a lot to really be able to switch on like that. So I feel like he did good.
Okay, that's good.
I gotta throw this out there. If you happen to see the movie again, make sure you look at everybody at that table. You might see somebody in this room at that table.
Man, you weren't at that table. Were you at that table? Carver, did you see this man's face at that table?
I have to watch it again. I have to watch it.
I
don't know, maybe I get in flashbacks. You just gotta...
Was it in the flashback? Were you in any flashbacks? There wasn't no flashback scenes, were there?
No, I was getting flashbacks.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. In the beginning there was flashbacks, so the whole thing was flashbacks. But take a look at it again and everybody's sitting at that table.
What about Denai as Afeni Shakur? How did y'all think she did?
She did well. She also played like a huge range of, you know, various emotions and different scenes. You know, I couldn't expect better, so.
Okay, that's cool. You agree?
Yeah, Denai is she's a force when it comes to acting. I mean, she really gets all the way into her character. And, you know, I do feel like in the movie, she went above and beyond the Call of Duty in there. I mean, she was doing some old Viola Davis. and I was standing there with you.
Yeah.
She went all the way in with that though.
Gotcha. What about Jamal Ward as Biggie for the second time?
I mean, Biggie's Biggie.
Biggie.
He knows the road down. He did it before. He brought the same energy in there, you know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You think so too, Carver?
Yeah, I agree. Cause you know, Big's like a cool, calm, collected guy. You know, he played it before, so.
What about Chris Clark as Shock G? This man right here.
That's your favorite guy right there.
He just nailed Shock G. Like, he, to me, was one of my favorite actors in the film.
Do you know Shock G?
I don't know about Shock G. I don't know. I Get Around, same song. Like, even like the red nose that he had and the suit on the performance, I'm like, oh my god, that is Shock G.
No, Shock G, that's Humpty.
Yeah, that's
Shock
Humpty
G.
Dumpty.
No, that's Humpty.
That's
From Humpty Dumpty.
Do the Humpty.
The Humpty dance.
Don't tell me this.
What? Wait, what?
Still
almost got busy and break the king back. You thought that was Shang-Chi.
I like Shang-Chi. Alright, what about Keith Robinson as A-Tom? I mean A-Tron. I was gonna say Ultron.
The age of Ultron. The Avengers' next nemesis. I thought everybody who was an actor who'd acted before did what the screen time they had. They did what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. They did their job. You know, everybody had longer times, then, you know, it would have been like a movie where you'd been like, wow, the acting just blew you away. But, you know, like, since everything was kind of, you know, this situation, they did what they had to do. Mm-hmm. You know, of course there could have been, you know, if they were only telling about a certain part of Tupac's life, then you could have got more deep in with the actors. But because they went from his beginning, like an origin story almost, but not even that, because the origin story is just the beginning. It went from his alpha to his omega.
But before we get there, I just want to know, A-Tron, did you like his performance?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I don't think there's really any person with any acting. Yeah. I don't think there's anybody that came poor.
Okay. Everybody brought their A game basically.
Yeah. You know. A game as far as we know.
Okay.
Because some people we haven't seen a lot from them.
Yeah, there's a lot of
but I think that everybody captured the essence. There wasn't a person there that I felt in watching them, I was like, hell nah, I ain't believe them. You know, I ain't believe them. I mean, everybody captured. You had Denai being Afeni. You know, she was powerful, militant. You know, even as a crack fiend, mama, there was a black queen, mama. You know, you had everybody. You know, just the whole gamut of everybody. Just, I think they did their thing.
Alright guys, let's go ahead and jump into the plot and structure and story of this film. Hey, we're going to start off with you. How did you feel as if they did with putting this together to tell the story? With this being 2.5 hours, did you like the way, or did you feel as if they put as much as they could into it and it was good at the end? Like it?
I feel like within the, 2 hours and 20 minutes that they had.
I felt like 2:45. Continue.
2:45. It doesn't matter if it was 3 hours. It's not enough time to tell Tupac's story. It's not enough time to tell Tupac's legacy. It's not enough time to put everything in there. I know there's a lot of people, fans, non-fans, lovers, haters, whatever, that wanted every last nook and cranny in there, which is impossible. There's no way that you can do that. That's why the majority of biopics are either one of two ways. They're on TV, and you get 2 hours this night, 2 hours that night, 2 hours another night. So you're having 6 hours to tell the whole story. Or they are, if they're on the screen, it's about a specific point in that person's life. It's not from the beginning to the end. They might have one little thing about the beginning or one little thing about the end, but it's not the whole collective story, because it's a person's life is hard, if not impossible, to tell in the course of 2 hours. Like, I don't know how you could really do that. That's just not something that can really happen. So with that, they tried to put a lot in there. We filmed a lot of stuff that was on the cutting room floor, like a lot. Stuff with Madonna, stuff with him going to the accompanying Tretch and them to the audition for Juice, and him actually getting a role over everybody else that was there. There was a lot of stuff. I wasn't there for the editing process where they decided what would push the narrative, what to lose and what to put in there. You know, that is totally on, you know, the above the line people, so to speak. So, you know, when you're watching it, yeah, you might have known something, because I mean, hell, it's been like 20 years. Everybody scoured Tupac's life. You know, when we look at Tupac, we damn near know everything. So if there's something that you like that was in the movie, then yeah, you like that. But if something that you like that wasn't in the movie, then you're like, oh, that part wasn't in there. But like, let's just be for real. Can I tell your story in 2 hours? Probably not. I can't even talk to somebody about you in 2 hours and tell them from the beginning of your birth until right now, this point right here in your life. You can't really do that. So in there, they put a lot in there, and you know, like, everybody's vision is different. So this person's vision might be, well, let's do it this way, and I might agree with that. Or this person's vision might be, let's do it this way, and you might not agree with that. You know, who knows? But you had 2 hours to tell Pac's story. They put as much as they felt like they could put in there, and we all saw the finished product.
Okay, but here's my concern with that, is that you're right, you can't put it all in 2.5 hours, right? But my thing is that, because here's the thing, I personally thought this movie was okay. And the reason I think that is because I didn't really feel as if there was much of a story or narrative. It was just a bunch of jumbled clips of Tupac's life put in 2.5 hours. So people can say that, well, where's that part about Tupac's life? Oh, it's in there right there. What about that part? Oh, it's in there. So yeah, you have it, but it doesn't tell a story. It doesn't tell the rise of Tupac. It just shows that he got from point A to point B and then he died.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot. That's how like a lot of the, like, I guess adolescent, like high school up until like maybe like mid-career, maybe like first or second album, how that went. Like, it was a lot of, okay, he's this, and now he's this, and that. It wasn't showing his transition, like his progress, you know, within himself or within like his craft to like be this point to this point to this point. It was just like, he's this, okay, now he's this, and now he's this. And then, you know, a lot of the focus was like in the middle of his like career, but I feel like it would have been like beneficial to the audience at least to see his progress.
So if you would have, I felt like the progress was in there. However, you are right with specific instances. However, if they did that, then you wouldn't have the Death Row days. Then that would have took up the movie.
Yeah, now I'm not saying like, oh, spend like 30 minutes on this, but you know, a small like, you know, 3-minute clip, 2-minute clip of him, you know, practicing writing, or him, you know, practicing his performance, or him, you know, looking around and seeing inspiration for his songs, or just little little
You
things
seen
like
him
that.
walking and the dude getting beat up by the police. You seen that. You seen him walking through the neighborhood and you have people selling dope over here. You seen him sitting there watching his stepdad at a Black Panther rally. You seen all these things. So like, which route could it have went? Because that was in there in the movie. The whole first 30 to 45 minutes was his experiences shaping and molding him into the man that you saw right before he got locked up.
Well, that's the thing.
I just feel like when he's seen all that, it was more of him. It was like day to day. Of course, you know that's his day to day, but it didn't like really. It didn't feel like it. Like he took it in and then expressed it out until like the meeting where he explained Brenda. Until then, you didn't really see him take the information and then express it like that. To where it's like okay, this is why I'm doing this.
That was the point. I mean, what do you mean? But that's the point that he expressed it. Was then. Like, until then, you're seeing every situation that he's going through. And then, at that point, is when he's telling you why. You know? Like, if he told you why then there would be no reason for him to tell you why again when he's talking to the label execs. You know, like, you can't have it, like, multiple times and it gets stale. You know, like, that was the point where he's explaining, like, I saw this. This is what happened. This is me growing up. You know, you might not understand this, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like the whole first 45 minutes of the movie was the setup. The setup of, like I said, just regurgitating the same things. Black Panther stuff with his mom. FBI coming in there. Them slapping her. You know, them looking for, I forgot his name, but looking for Mutulu. Yeah. Looking for Mutulu. Him walking down the street, you know, with his mom, and, you know, she sees that the FBI people behind him, makes him stand there, and they hear everything that she's saying. You know, all that was the build-up. You know, all the way to the point to where he gets a little bit older now, and he's doing his poetry, and he meets Jada Pinkett, and they are friends, and he recites poetry to her, but it sounds like a rap. He goes to the one lady's house, and because every weekend or every week they have the hip hop poetry night, and he goes there and she likes him. She introduces him to Atron. Atron likes what he does, and then takes him to Digital Underground, and now he's a part of Digital Underground to the point to where he's like, look, I got stuff I need to do. Either I need to be on a rap song and start making some money, or I'm out. And boom, they put him on there.
I have a question for you. From what I heard was Tupac never even was in the hotel room when the rape happened.
No, he was definitely in a hotel room. It was more or less, from what I remember, he was there. The girl came. She came in his room. You know, it was kind of like all over him, kind of like how you saw in the movie and stuff. He wasn't really too tough feeling it, or maybe he was. But I don't really remember. But the other dudes came into the room too, and he thought that it was weird. So, you know, he got up and left and went into like a different room, you know, and, you know, went to sleep or whatever. And then she came in like, you did this, you let them do this, blah, 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 and like blamed him for it and all that type of stuff. So that's why in real life, that's why he was able to get found guilty, because he was there in the beginning. It wasn't like he was just gone. He was there. They were fooling around. Other dudes came in. That's why he got found not guilty of rape, but got found guilty of touching or some shit like that.
And the guys that did rape her, they didn't get in trouble. They just
that part. You know, you never really hear about the other guys in situations where it's a big celebrity. You know, you don't really hear about the other guys. And like those dudes, you know, they were like really hooked into like the streets of New York. So, you know, don't know if they got off or they didn't. I'm pretty sure they got off because the other guys were still around for like a long time.
Yeah. What did y'all think about the ending? The way that he just got shot and they just put the music in and just end credits. Do you feel as that was a suitable ending, or do you wish there could have been more, like a funeral scene? I understand it was 2.5 hours and they had to wrap it up, but do you feel like that was a satisfying conclusion to this movie?
I feel like that was a good ending. Because anything else, it would have took the audience. It would have just like, you know, dragged it out for the audience. Because everybody knows that's when he dies, or that's like what caused him to die. Showing him in the hospital for the next few days, you know, wouldn't have been as captivating as, you know, that last scene.
I kind of agree with that. I mean, I feel like that was the best way that you could have. I mean, there's different artistic ways, but him dying, there was no need to go further with it. You know, however they made him die, where he laid there and the camera did a slow 360 with the smoke as it rises up, or whether an angel came out at that point. You know, who knows? But you didn't really need to go past him really dying. I don't think that would have pushed the narrative any further.
Alright, y'all, I want to thank y'all again for coming through the Movies on Our Minds and talking to us about the All Eyes on Me biopic. If you don't mind, Nate, tell us where we can find you on this camera right here.
How y'all doing? Y'all can find me in Atlanta on any movie set. I'm assistant director here in Atlanta. Pretty much anything that's anything, you'll find the kid there. You can also find me at Stat Daddy on Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, whatever it is, StatDaddie. You know, shoot me a DM or something if you want to chop it up about anything. And Nate Patterson on Facebook. Might not add you on there though, unless you message me first. All right, but yeah, that's really it.
All right, cool. Khafre, what about you? Where can they find you?
Well, I frequent between Atlanta, DC, and New York a lot. I'm a photographer, and want to check out my work or work with me or just, you know, talk to me, DM me, whatever. My Instagram is flickupcough_2.
That's what's up. Alright, y'all can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Baroque Bochenek. I'm gonna have it right here for y'all to see, including them over there. I don't know if I'm gonna put them both at the same time, but
I need mine up here. Holla at your boy.
You can like drop it down vertically like this.
like, y'all want y'all's fancy. That's what y'all.
All eyes on this. That's just kind of crazy, right?
But yeah, so you can find me on Baroque Bochenek, BROQUE, Guys, I want to know what y'all thought about All Eyes on Me. Did you enjoy the film? Did you work on the film if you lived here in Atlanta? What are your thoughts on it? Whatever it is, leave us a comment below. I said a comment?
You said a comment.
I said
leave a comment below.
A comment.
You know, I'm here to make sure everything goes right. A comment's below. Follow Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, whatever. Right here, right there, and over there. Hopefully it's there.
You're just gonna keep switching angles.
It's gonna be somewhere.
I thought we were talking in the middle.
Y'all talking there.
Oh, you talking in the middle, we talk there?
We talk everywhere now.
Yeah, I'm talking everywhere. Alright.
But guys,
West side to like that. Yeah. West side. Alright.
This man right here. But yeah, guys, thank you again for tuning in. And until then, we'll see you next time on Movies on Our Minds.